Welcome back to Kosi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kosi, and how are you guys doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. People in Jamaica, people in America, people in UK, people in Africa, everywhere, wherever you are. Welcome back to the channel, and I really do appreciate all the support that you guys show me, the watching of videos, the commenting, this, the smashing of the like button, and that army that smashed the like button. Please and please, big up on yourselves. It really means a lot. I have a couple of good stories today to discuss. Not so many, by the way. There is not so much to discuss around Arsenal. Later in the day, I'll be discussing how Semowa and Emi Buendia's Arsenal's 100 million decision. What will we decide? Where will we go? Many reports suggesting that Arsenal still want House Semowa, and of course many reports still claiming that Emi Buendia is still on that list of playmakers Arsenal are looking at. We shall discuss that and more. But today in this video, I want us to, right now we should be discussing Danny Ings as well as Martin Odegaard, because there is, or there are talks and rumors that a deal is very close. We've been in talks with Real Madrid for almost a week. I didn't know about this. Just to be very clear my name. I didn't know about this, but it is true that we have been, Edu has been in talks with Real Madrid to get Martin Odegaard on loan until the end of the season. We're going to be discuss that and more. So just smash the like button, get your subscriptions in, and comment. Would you like Martin Odegaard? Would you take Danny Ings? Who of the two would you or would you not take at Arsenal? Let's start with Danny Ings, who has been linked with a couple of clubs this in the past 48 hours. Has been linked with Manchester United. Of course, United, if they were to take him, they would take him as a backup striker. By the fact that Odegard is going to leave the club, they will need a backup striker, because I don't think Anthony Martial is performing to the expectations of a striker of a club who wants, of a club who thinks they are going to win the league, or they want to win the league. So I think they have Cavani and they need another prolific striker, and that could be Danny Ings. But again, he's been linked with Tottenham Hotspur, and finally the ball has been thrown into our basket and linked with Arsenal as a potential, striker who could actually join the Emirates Stadium. Now, you would understand if Arsenal signed, or if Arsenal were interested in Danny Ings. And of course, I do not understand that Arsenal is interested in Danny Ings, but we have just been linked with him. Stories are just linking us with Danny Ings. But I mean, I would understand if we were linked with Danny Ings. I would understand if Arsenal had any interest in Danny Ings. For me, I think he's one of those strikers that are quite prolific but underrated. He's a very good striker, by the way. We have seen what he can do, throughout his career. At Liverpool, things never worked out for him. Maybe that was his chance to, to get hold of himself and bang goals for a big club. Now things never worked out, worked out of him for him at Liverpool. But when now he looks like a revived striker. He's banging in goals day in, day out, match in, match out. And I think if Arsenal brought in Danny Ings as a backup striker, it would work, because I've already told you that for Alexander Lacazette, this should be the last season. I love Lacazette, I believe in him, but this should be the last season he plays for Arsenal. Cashing on him and getting another better striker, or a backup striker for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Ings would be a very good option, but the only problem, of course, is the age. He's old. He's not getting any younger. By the time we sign him in the summer, he would be what? 27, 28 years of age. He would be a little bit old, and of course, you ask yourself, do you have the resale value then coming with him? That's a big question, doesn't it? Isn't it? But of course, I think Danny Ings is a good striker, but I don't think Arsenal will go for Danny Ings. How much he's been linked with the Emirates Stadium this early morning. However, the most interesting piece of story is about Martin Odegaard. The Athletic have come out and say that Edu, our sporting director, Edu Gaspar, has been in talks with Real Madrid for almost a week to see that we can actually get Martin Odegaard. David Ornstein says Arsenal love the player very much, and of course talks are on, and we have made an approach. We have approached the player himself to see that we can actually take him down to the Emirates Stadium. That's a beautiful story, isn't it? Very beautiful, very positive. I think it's the positive, you know, one of those positive stories we have had in the past. We have had in the past 2 weeks. All we have been doing in this January transfer window is ship out players, let players go, reduce the trim the squad and so on. But still, the problem is we need a creative player. We need someone to add to the creativity at the club, and I think Martin Odegaard would do that. Now, look, I'm a very big fan of the player, but I would not want him to come at the club and us to look at him as this kind of messiah, this kind of player that's going to do a lot and a lot. If he's going to come on a short-term deal until the end of the season, then he goes back to Real Madrid with Dani Ceballos. That is more understandable. And of course, I said we understand the financial situation in which the club are in. There isn't enough money to sign, to acquire 40 million Buendia, 50 million Hausemowa, or 25 million Dominic Szoboszlai. We don't have that money in January right now, and everybody has come to accept that that we are either going to do a loan deal or a free transfer, someone like Diego Costa, something like that, which I would strongly advise against. So now reports have it that we are in talks with Real Madrid. We have approached the player, but however, we still face a lot of competition from Real Betis, who had the player last season, scoring, assisting 9 times there in his spell, 9 times, and scoring 7 goals. That was quite a run. Well, I think Arsenal having the young army right now, Emile Smith-Rowe, Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli, being the fact that we have a young army, you could think about it and you're like, okay, you could bring him, you bring in Martin Odegaard just to fit him with the young players, because the difference, and this was said by Fabrizio Romano, and I thought it was something very good when I was talking about Isco, and he said the difference players like Isco have is they come with so many things. They come with leadership, they come with a lot of experience, but a player like Martin Odegaard really doesn't have, apart from the talent and so on, he doesn't have so much difference with Emile Smith-Rowe. Actually, what Emile Smith-Rowe had with Huddersfield, on loan, is basically what Martin Odegaard had with Real Betis on loan. He has not really played a lot of football that at Real Madrid at such a top level that you think is so much different from what we have. But just for backup options, because I said, you never know when Emile Smith-Rowe is going to get injured. You never know when Bukayo Saka is going to get injured. You have seen already Gabriel Martinelli is becoming injury prone, which I do not want to think about. I don't want such a talent to be wasted to injuries or to be crushed away to injuries. But still, you need a backup player. We have seen that Pepe and Willian are absolutely not going to pick up. If they're going to pick up at Arsenal, it's not going to be the season. They just look so out of place, rubbish. They look, I don't know, they just look out of misplaced. Yeah, so I think we need a backup player. We need a young, a young player. But still, I ask that really causes a lot of questions for me. I ask now that if you're bringing in a player like Martin Odegaard, 23 years of age, you have Emile Smith-Rowe, you have Saka and Gabriel Martinelli, and they look set to drive this Arsenal force forward, then why do you let a player like Balogun go that easily without a fight? All those questions really come to me, and I'm like, do really Arsenal do what they're know what they're doing? Yeah, we have the past 10 departures Arsenal have done, we have barely got enough money to reinvest in the squad. Because when did Arsenal last sell a player for decent money? Most of the players we have let go is a free transfer, terminating contracts and so on. So maybe we need to rethink our transfer decisions, but Martin Odegaard could be on his way to Arsenal. We shall be updating you, and I'll be updating you more about that. I'll come back with Mikel Arteta's press conference. That is if he did it about the Southampton game in the FA Cup. We have back-to-back Southampton games in the league as well as in the FA Cup. I care more about the league, and I'll talk about that in the preview. I think I care more about the league. I really don't care much about FA Cup, because I don't think we can keep winning this trophy day in, day out. Yes, I know it is only our chance. It's our only chance to a silverware this season, but I do not think that we need to focus more on the FA Cup. It should be on the league. We are really doing poorly in terms of position in the league. We need to elevate in terms of the table. But I'll talk about that in the preview. Like I said, I'll come and talk about how Samoa and Emiliano Buendia, Arsenal's 100 million transfer decision, that decision we have to take to reinvest in the squad, because literally we do not have a midfield. So let us wait for more on that, and I'll speak to you very soon.